25% of India's population is directly hit by a drought in the country. That's more than 33 crore people. And these are just those who live in all the 256 districts that have been declared drought affected by the central government. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court is fast losing patience with the centre and the states for what it feels is a very lackadaisical attitude in dealing with the situation. So while its questions for the centre were about what the centre is actually doing to inform states about the crisis, the Supreme Court has also come down hard on the Gujarat government for not submitting an affidavit on the drought to the court. So let's find out what the situation on the ground is with senior BJP leader Vyas and the president of the Gujarat Pradesh Congress Committee, Arjun Modhwadia. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us. Mr. Vyas, may I ask you, sir, why has the Gujarat government failed to submit an affidavit to the court? 10 states have given the details of how bad the drought situation is, but the Gujarat government has chosen not to submit details to the court. Why is that, sir?
Well, I would look at it like this. Say first, let us understand 2 or 3 things which will, in a broader perspective, explain this whole issue, because this is going to be increasingly a very critical issue for the country in the years to come. So when we wrote our first 5-year plan in 1951, per capita availability of water in this country was 5,000 meter cube per person per year. That has just dwindled to 1,200 meter cube per person per year. So per capita water availability in general has gone down, and then add on to that the skewed distribution of water, where 2/3 of the water is in 1/3 of the area and 1/3 of the water is in 2/3 of the area.
So I appreciate you trying to explain the background to us, sir, but Mr. Vyas, if you could answer a straightforward question. If you could answer a straightforward question, sir, why have you chosen not to submit an affidavit detailing what the situation is in Gujarat is like 10 other state governments have done?
I think what Honorable Supreme Court has desired is little more detailed blueprint of action, which I think Government of Gujarat should be able to give, because Government of Gujarat in fact has been tackling with these kind of situations for years very successfully, thanks to the Narmada water distribution pipe, that out of 18,000 villages in the state, almost more than 14,000 villages are today served with the piped water supply rather than the tanker water supply. So the situation in the other parts of the country where the sources are drying up and you don't have a source to supply, like Maharashtra or like Madhya Pradesh or like Bihar or Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat doesn't have that situation. Gujarat has
so are you saying that Gujarat has not been impacted by the drought this time around? Mr. Vyas, are you saying that Gujarat is not impacted by the drought this time around? Are you saying that Gujarat is not drought hit?
Not the way you are talking about. You are comparing in Maharashtra, where for the first issue is even the drinking water is not available. That's not the question as far as Gujarat is concerned.
I'm asking you to give me the reality of what is happening in Gujarat at this point in time. I have no data at this point because you haven't submitted it to court like the other state governments have done. I'm asking you to tell us how many districts in Gujarat have been impacted by the drought, sir?
Out of 18,000 villages, out of 18,000 villages, the state government has declared less than 1,000 villages which are either semi-drought affected or which have some kind of a problem regarding the drought effect. So I think Gujarat, if you look at it totally, not more than 10% of the state can be said to have been affected by the drought, which we are comparing with the background of Maharashtra and other states. The situation in Gujarat is entirely different, and maybe that is where I think the Honorable Supreme Court also, when the Government of Gujarat gives the details on the ground, will be convinced about it. I don't think there should be any problem.
Okay, you're saying not more than 10% of the state of Gujarat has been impacted by the drought. But let me bring in Congress Committee President Arjun Modhwadia into this conversation. Mr. Modhwadia, you just heard what Mr. Vyas has to say. Forget the comparisons of what the situation is like in Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh or Karnataka. But, do you believe that the response of the Gujarat government has been adequate? Do you believe that Mr. Vyas here is painting a picture not entirely accurately?
The first, regarding the Supreme Court's comments, You know, this is the second time when the Supreme Court have fired Gujarat government, not replying to the query raised by the Supreme Court. The first time the government of Gujarat explained that they were busy in the panchayat election, so they didn't prepare the data, so they were not able to submit it to the Supreme Court. Second time, the government of India have submitted the data along with the states of the other than the Gujarat, but only the Gujarat state have not submitted the situation in the Gujarat. That shows that how ignorant our state government to the people of the Gujarat and to the highest apex court of the India. Number two, they not only ignored the Supreme Court, but they ignored the people along with the duty towards the Supreme Court. My learned friend Jainaran Vyas was explaining that the situation in Gujarat is not like this as compared to the Maharashtra and other states. I disagree with you, with my learned friend, because the BJP people in the Gujarat are not able to, take around the states. They were not,
Mr. Modhwadia, I don't want this to become an issue between the Congress party and the BJP, sir. This is an issue that concerns the lives of people. I would appreciate it if we can stick to what the state government needs to do. If you have any suggestions or you have any specific issues that you want the state government to address, let's put those on the table, sir. Let's not make this about politics between the Congress and the BJP.
Please allow me to answer. Today only we just came to know through media that only 1,000 villages have been declared as a semi-drought position, not drought. Drought villages is only 400 only. But this situation in the ground is very much different. Almost all major dams in the Saurashtra region and North Gujarat region have dried up. Only 10% water is available now. And the fodder position for the cattle folk is very miserable, and thousands of the cattle folks are dying every day. The farmers are making a suicide every day. We are hearing the news that in such district the farmers have made a suicide and other district have made a suicide. And every village is, there is a fighting between the administration and the people for the drinking waters. The situation is like every day we are hearing over there, but the Gujarat government is so insensitive and they are so much preoccupied in the other political activities, whether to speak Bharat Mata ki Jai or not, whether to
we get the point that you've made, Mr. Modhwadia. We get the point that you've made. Mr. Vyas, you've heard what Arjun Modhwadia has to say. These are questions that have been asked not just by the Congress, but these are questions that have been asked of the Gujarat government by the highest court of the land. So the Supreme Court is asking the Gujarat government these questions as well. Can you very quickly articulate for us what is going to be the plan of action? And are you standing by your claim today to say that only 10% of Gujarat has been impacted by the drought?
See, there is a system of declaring drought-affected areas, and the Revenue Department is seized of this, and whatever has been done so far, 1,000 villages, as my friend Mr. Modhwadia was telling, is based upon that system. So you can't challenge the system. Even during the Congress regime, the same system was operating. Now, coming to the second part, I was trying to harp upon that for the drinking water for the human beings as well as animals, there are 14,000 villages in Gujarat which are being supplied today. He was making reference to the dams being dried up. Where is the question? Your source is the Narmada pipeline. It is not the dams in Gujarat, my dear friend. So I think Congress is, and that is where, their Jal Yatras, which they are trying to make an issue out of it in the Gujarat, are a miserable failure, because this issue is
Mr. Vyas,
just
Mr. Vyas, we're out of time. We're out of time, sir. So let me ask you, when will the Gujarat government be submitting details to the court, sir? When will your affidavit be ready for submission?
I am confident when this apex court of the country is asking for the details, the government should do it yesterday. I'm sure the government will be doing it at the earliest possible opportunity. So these details are available, and I don't think there should be any problem submitting the details.
All right, Mr. Vyas, Mr. Modhwadia, we'll leave it there. Appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18. We hope you're right, sir, that only 10% of Gujarat is actually facing a drought-like situation at this point in time. But we will await to see those details as and when the Gujarat government does decide to submit those that affidavit to the Supreme Court. Appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18.